Everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today, before I begin, I want to mention that my workshop on self-forgiveness is now up on my website, and all the details to that is in the description below. So now let's get started with my bag of words and see what I'm inspired to share today. Let's see. All right. Oh my goodness, I got a bunch of words in my hands. All right, I'm picking out two. Embrace and anxiety. All right, so we're going to start with those two. Embrace and anxiety. Makes me think of literally like embrace your anxiety. And when I mean embrace it, I'm thinking of allowing it to exist and not necessarily trying to force your way out of it. When I say allow it to exist, I don't mean allow it to exist and just, allow it to hang out forever, right? We want to be able to transform it. But in order for us to be able to transform it, we need to understand it, right? And when I say allow it to exist, is that in order to understand it, we have to allow it to exist, to be present. We have to allow ourselves to feel it as opposed to trying to run from it. Because if we run from it, right, and distract ourselves and we're like, oh, good, I don't feel that anymore, we don't necessarily learn anything from it. We just kind of escaped it, but we didn't gain the understanding and the wisdom from it that it is trying to impart to us. So we want to allow it to exist, meaning notice it and say, interesting, look at what I'm feeling right now, right? And then we can even go into a journaling exercise if we have that opportunity. And if we don't, that's okay. We can just even notice it, right? And if we're not in a position to be able to journal it, once we notice it, we can practice something as simple as breathing. Because once we're paying attention to it and we also start focusing in on our breath, right? We notice it, we say, how interesting is that I am feeling this right now? And then we go into focusing in on our breath. What we're doing is we're bringing it down a notch. And then we can ask ourselves, wow, that was interesting, right? What was that about for ourselves? And even if we can't write it down, right, the fact that we've asked ourselves that, we have that now in our mind, right? We have that awareness, but we can't really explore it or even ask ourselves any questions that we can focus on when we're on 10. So we want to, yes, notice that we're feeling that in our bodies, right? And just go into something as simple as breathing, because when we start to focus in on our breath, we bring it down a notch and we can learn something from it. And we don't have to spend a lot of time doing this, right? But we want to acknowledge it and address it. And in that way, we are embracing that part of us that is present in that moment and acknowledging it, right? We're not just getting rid of it or abandoning it or running from it. So we want to, yes, embrace it, as strange as that, right, may sound initially. And before I go any further, I want to pick, I was thinking of picking another word, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to pick the first card on the deck that I shuffled from the Untethered Soul, which, as you know, I love very much. And let's see what the card says. All right, so the top card says, realize that the outside world and the flow of inner emotions come and go. Oh my God, you can't make this stuff up. Okay. But you, the one who experiences these things, remain consciously aware of whatever passes before you. So, like I said, you can't make this stuff up, right? Because what are we talking about? Emotions and allowing them to exist. And yes, when we notice them and we let them pass by and we observe them as interesting, as opposed to judging them or making ourselves bad or good or thinking of ourselves as damaged or broken, as opposed to just being human in that moment, right? It makes the world of a difference. And that's how we're able to transcend and not be overpowered from an emotion, right? And this feeling of anxiety that overcomes us. So I could end with that, but I'm not. I will pick my last word from my bag of words and see what else I am inspired to share. Okay, disappointed. All right, so that's interesting because disappointment in this case makes me think of when we don't take the time, right, or the opportunity to learn and from an emotion and a feeling like anxiety, right? We are going to find ourselves feeling disappointed. It's only a matter of time that we're going to feel that feeling, because just because we didn't deal with it doesn't mean it goes away. It just is something that we distracted ourselves from that moment. But it's going to resurface, and it's not until it's not until we understand, right, that anxiety, that we're able to have a better handle, right, on ourselves. In other words, once we understand the anxiety, right, and we address it, we then don't necessarily get affected, right, the same way by it. In other words, we don't get as consumed, we don't get taken over in the same way. When I say taken over, emotionally speaking, in the same way, because we're not so scared of it. We're not running so fast from it, right? We're allowing it to exist. So when we're not scared of something, it doesn't overpower us. It's when we are overpowered by it and scared of it and try to avoid it that we're going to eventually, yes, leave ourselves disappointed, because we're not that much better for it. Instead, right, we got through that moment, but now it's back again, and equally as strong or even stronger, because we've sent a message to our subconscious mind that we can't handle this emotion. And then we get even more scared. And of course, then that exacerbates the anxiety even more. So we want to take the time, right, to, yes, notice it and observe it as something that's interesting. And it's interesting because it is part of the human experience and nothing more. And that's what we're experiencing in that moment in time. And emotions are okay, and we want to, yes, relay that message to our subconscious mind that it is safe to have emotions, that it is okay, and that, yes, we understand that it is safe to allow them to exist without us having to panic and run. All right, so I'm going to end with that. I hope that this video has helped you in some way and that you have a beautiful day. And if this video did help you in some way, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified when further videos are uploaded. Bye for now.